Hey, what's happening, family? It's your man, Mark Black. Happy Hump Day and happy Juneteenth to all of you. Welcome to the midweek broadcast here on Black Outcast Media. Family, I know we have a lot to talk about today. Woo! That crap show, that travesty of a hearing on H.R. 40. Boy, I'm telling you, that was some epic political theater if you've ever seen it. But we're going to talk about it today, fam. Before we get started, just a couple of things here real quick, all right? First of all, again, happy Juneteenth to all of you who have ancestors who came through the crucible of the transatlantic slave trade, including myself. Shout out to our ancestors. Whatever you sipping on, lift it up. Pour some out for them. They're the reason why we're here, all right? So let's pay homage to their labors, to their travails, and let's, show them respect. Let's lift them up. Let's show them love today, right? Today was the day that our ancestors in Texas found out that they were free. They were finally free from being chattel slaves here in the United States. And so we honor them, we lift them up, we respect them, we esteem them, and we continue to move on with their work, right, fam? Second of all, fam, again, links in the description for research materials, books, reports, merchandise to help support my channel. Please do, right? If you respect my work, you know, muzzle not the ox while he's treading out the grain and all of that, right? You know what I'm saying? Break bread, support your interests. Oh, one other thing. For those of you who didn't get a chance to watch it live, I did find on the Washington Post YouTube channel the full broadcast of the hearing. It's around 3 hours, so don't watch it now, family. Watch your man, but check it out at your leisure, all right? So let me shout out everybody in the chat here. We got MC Hammer Daddy, who's working, but he's watching. Infinite Mind State in the house. Black Man 903, I see you. Spook, love, peace to you. My brother D, also known as Tarian, welcome. Welcome. CRU, salute to you. Mr. Spacely, one of my favorite characters in the Jetsons. Happy Juneteenth to you. Michi in the house. Let's see here. We got Jamie Tinsley in the house. Happy Juneteenth to you. Looks like we got a guest, Richard Byer. Hope you act right, but hope you get some answers too, and welcome to the broadcast. Mr. Lou Meth is in the house. Ibrahim's in the house, right? Afro Troop, ADOS-ites assemble, right? We Autobots, you feel me? Thomas B in the house. Yo, thank you for letting me shout you out, and happy Juneteenth to you. So, let's do some discussion. Oh, by the way, missed one. Shout out to you, Christine. Welcome to your Hump Day broadcast, and happy Juneteenth to you. Let's discuss this hearing, right? Because first of all, the first thing I'm gonna say is that are you in any way surprised? Right? Look at the timeline. Shout out to my man Double C's. Happy Juneteenth to you, and welcome to the broadcast. Look at the timeline for the hearing and how this whole thing played out. And if you were shocked in any way that the people who were going to get to speak weren't necessarily going to be speaking on your behalf, I don't know what to tell you, right? By law, before any public hearing, Congress has to give about 5 days notice, right? At a minimum. Now, most hearings, right, people get plenty of notifications so they can be there, so they can, participate, they can apply to testify, and so on and so forth, right? They announced the hearing 7 days before the actual hearing itself. We didn't even get a list, because remember, Common's name was floating out there for a bit and a few other ones, right? But we didn't even get a list of the actual people who they had already pre-selected to testify until about 4 to 5 days before today. We didn't even know who was going to be there. But once we did get the list, wasn't it interesting that the people that we would have expected to be at a hearing discussing such an important topic, right? The remediation, the restoration, and the repair of the American descendants of slavery were not invited. No one invited Claude Anderson, Dr. Claude Anderson. Nobody invited Dr. William Sandy Darity. Nobody invited Attorney Antonio Moore. Nobody invited Sister Yvette Carnell and other advocates that we know have been pushing forward this justice claim for decades, right? So if you're surprised, fam, if you find yourself feeling some sort of way today, I want to ask you, where the hell you been? Are you new to this advocacy? Like, are you new to this? No shade, right? But those of us who were aware of how this thing has been playing out, none of this is unexpected. So I wanted to say that right from the get-go. There was nothing that happened today in that hearing chamber that was surprising, strange, weird, out of place. Shout out to Show Nuff and Kizzy, by the way. Happy Juneteenth to you, and welcome to your Hump Day broadcast. Now, I want to talk about a few things that I noticed during the hearing. Okay. Because first of all, even though he would never do it for me, just saying, shout out to brother Jason Black for going and doing live commentary of the actual broadcast of the hearing. Shout out to him. I thought about doing it. I wish I had, because he killed it. And Jason, man, hats off to you, bruh. That was a great piece of new black media all day long, right? So the first thing that I noticed right from the get-go was a lot of flowery language. Now, fam, I've mentioned to you specific marketing terms, right, that are applicable to our relationship with the government, right? Because you see, family, every other demographic in America, they get advocacy in specific ways. They get advocacy taken seriously, basically, right? If, let's say, Asian Americans have an issue with something that's happening, they will approach the Congress. And if Congress is interested in the topic, Congress will hold a hearing, and they will call economists, psychologists, whatever the specialists or experts that are needed to address whatever the topic is. And if Asian Americans are unable to get any traction in Congress, as we know now from Executive Order 13872, they're even able to get in front of the executive and get their advocacy taken care of. You feel me? They don't call in Margaret Cho to testify on behalf of different things that are going on. You dig? Right? They don't call in celebrities to address issues that are specific and serious to the Asian American community. And that makes perfect sense, right? I mean, if something is an issue enough that a group of citizens, right, a key demographic wants to approach the government for a specific redress, then it is only sensible and respectful for the government to treat their issue with dignity. But whenever we as ADOS people, as a demo here in the United States, have an issue with anything that goes on, they show us the complete lack of respect by who it is that they select to speak on it. Shout out to my brother Jason on Twitter, who tweeted to me. He said, who they select to speak for you shows you what they think about you, right? Whoever it is that Congress is willing to let in front of them to speak on behalf of a particular demographic tells you, in a sense, what Congress thinks about your demographic. When Indian Americans, right, from the Indian Peninsula or the Indian subcontinent, right, Pakistani, Indian, Bangladeshi, when they have issues, they have politicians who will put forth specific legislation on their behalf. They don't come to them and say, well, I'll put forward this legislation, but it's a long shot. I can't say for a certainty if we'll be able to get it through. No, No naysaying, no blowharding. They just simply write the bill and push it through. They jockey and trade off with other politicians to get them as co-signatories for their legislation. But when it comes to ADOS people, every time we have a specific piece of legislation or a specific issue that we have going on, if we're lucky enough to even get a congressperson, whether a senator or a congressperson, to actually write legislation, those same senators and Congress members, House members, actually work to sabotage behind the scenes the possibility of the legislation even getting to the floor. Family, if you don't believe me, let me ask you a question. Most people who are relatively new to any type of advocacy for the American descendants of slavery would not necessarily be familiar with who it was that actually put forward H.R. 40 to begin with. So why is it that you think they mention Congressman Conyers' name multiple times throughout the broadcast today? You know, the same John Conyers who, because of his alleged sexual improprieties, is persona non grata, drummed out of the House. They made sure to mention his name and associate it with this legislation multiple times. Again, family, sabotage, right? So don't be surprised. Why, Kizzy? I'll tell you why. Because the thing is, ultimately, is that they want covered, the Democrats, I mean. They want to say that they tried to make a move for ADOS. Don't worry, they already have their excuses in place. They already have the scapegoats in place. No doubt, right? They're going to blame the Republicans. They're going to blame, this, that, and the third, right? They already have their excuses in play. The one issue that those of us who have been long-term advocates for the remediation, restoration, and repair of ADOS people, the one thing that we've always had kind of as a stick to smack the government with is the fact that John Conyers put forward H.R. 40 every year for the whole time he was in Congress, 19 years. And it never even left committee. Y'all can't be serious about doing anything for ADOS folk. So this whole dog and pony show that we saw today on our sole Native Black American holiday, isn't it strange, like having a damn congressional hearing on the 4th of July? Who does that? Again, just another sign of the disrespect that is shown to ADOS folk. No one else would have to tolerate this. If the so-called Jewish citizens of America had an issue that they wanted to redress with the government, I can guarantee you that whatever committee was going to be having a hearing on that issue, it wouldn't be on Hanukkah. Just saying. Just saying. Just the blatant, clear disrespect, the lack of dignity that they show us as a demo is clear across all areas. Mr. Lou, we're going to talk about it, right? Because I would argue, fam, and I'm going to get to this later in the broadcast, that they actually did us a favor today. That they actually did us a favor. They overplayed their hand. And I'm going to explain how they did it. The second thing I noticed right away in this dog and pony show, in this travesty of a damned hearing, was that the people that they had testify didn't speak too much facts. There was not a lot of factual give and take. Sure, Ta-Nehisi brought up a few data points. Julianne Malveaux, God, how the hell could she even call herself an economist? Like, she should have came in there with a binder where she could just turn the page. Here's the chart. Turn the page. Here's the chart. Turn the page. Here's the chart. And just read the information. And that didn't happen. This was all about feelings, right? Because again, as ADOS people, none of the politicians in Washington, D.C. think that we actually can have advocacy that is driven by the data. Why is it that you think they always mention how well-spoken we are? How much erudition we have? Because they're truly shocked when we speak from a standpoint of view that has nothing to do with how anybody fucking feels. You got this fat ass Episcopal priest or whatever the hell he is. I even forgot the bastard's name. Sitting up there talking about, we just want America to be good. We're a good nation. What the hell does being good have to do with the debt that's due? There's a lot of good folk in America. And we don't care as ADOS. We don't care if they good folk or if they the most rabid, frothing at the mouth, hood-wearing Klan member. We don't have any issue with Americans. We have an issue, a specific issue that demands redress from America. And we have the data to support that. Then you had this Coleman kid. Poor little deluded fucker. We're going to make him a victim by taking and making sure that the American descendants of slavery received the justice that their ancestors were denied. We're making him a victim against his will. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this up. A whole bunch of, I don't want to be a victim. My grandfather worked hard. That Burgess character, somebody needs to check that dude for CTE. He couldn't even fucking pronounce reparations. But he could rattle off how his grandfather became relatively privileged because the fact that Burgess's grandfather existed proves the rule. Exceptions prove the rule. They're exceptions because they are not the norm. That man's father being able to get a great grandfather, whatever, was able to get his hands on hundreds of acres in a time when black people as a whole, en masse, were being denied land rights, having their land stolen from them, either lynched and ran off of it, or terrorized off of it, or defrauded off of it. That man was privileged to a level he could never understand. But yet, because of his privilege, all the rest of us should continue to eat the failure. Family, if you didn't watch the hearing yourself, you wouldn't have believed it. And let's get to this chick, Julianne Malveaux. Again, I gotta see, family, as an ADOS advocate, I'll admit I'm spoiled. Because you see, I can go on to social media. I could probably even drop the brother a line and access one of the most knowledgeable, scholarly academicians around the issue of reparations anytime I want in Dr. Sandy Darity. Right? So I admit, I'm spoiled. So when I hear someone is an economist, what I expect to hear is economics. Call me crazy, right? But I expect that an economist should be able to speak intelligibly about economics. So Julianne Malveaux repeatedly throughout her testimony before this committee talked about economic issues that ADOS people face. And then when asked for a possible solution, the one solution that would fix the economic issue, she stated she don't want to be a part of. You know, I don't really particularly care if there's a check with the name of Julianne Malveaux on it. So you've been spouting off now for like 2 hours about the economic diminishment of ADOS people. That we, of course, have all the data in the world to support. We don't need any additional studies. We don't need any additional meetings on it. The data is out there to show that the racial wealth gap is real, and it is a direct reflection of our enslavement, the denial of access to capital under Jim Crow through debt peonage, sharecropping, convict leasing, lynchings, defrauding, race riots. Move forward in the future to pushing drugs into our community. First, it would look, everybody see, as an Xer, I'm more familiar with the crack epidemic. But what we seem to forget, family, is that the government has done this to ADOS people before. The government helped fund the heroin trade back during the Vietnam era that was pushing junk in our communities, taking a bunch of ex-soldiers from over in the field in Vietnam who came home riding the dragon and started feeding them and serving them junk here. How many of y'all remember all those blaxploitation movies like Superfly and so on and so forth? Them was the 70s versions of like Belly. Drug dealer movies, pimp movies. The government had a hand in the traffic of heroin into our community to poison our people. So the crack epidemic was just simply the latest iteration of the same strategy that they had been already previously on. And then they turn around and rather than treating the addiction of ADOS people as an economic issue, now let me correct myself. They did treat our addiction issues in our community as an economic issue. They used it as an economic opportunity to give small rural communities jobs and resources by building prisons and locking our people the fuck up. So they instituted the era of mass incarceration. See, family, Yvette was right when she said that America does not have to innovate slavery. They just iterate. They re-enslave us over and over, each generation. Our parents' generation my parents' generation was the civil rights generation. So they still lived under the auspices of Jim Crow. But my generation became the generation of colors and gangs and crack cocaine, the remnants of the junk epidemic they pushed into our community, the AIDS epidemic that ran rampant through our communities, and so on and so forth. And the government had a hand in fostering the institutions, the systems, and all of that made that a reality for many ADOS people in this country. We celebrate Juneteenth today because we celebrate the day that our ancestors found out about their freedom from chattel slavery. But we really don't have nothing to celebrate as of yet because each new generation keeps getting on the hook. And the one tool that America uses to keep us in those chains is our lack of economic capabilities, our lack of power. No, Easy asked. Short answer is hell no. I didn't agree with much of anything today. Another thing that I noticed, family, from the hearing today was just how willing the United States government is to go out of their way to ensure that they don't adhere to this justice claim, that they don't honor it, right? They are willing to give a national platform to, I'll be frank, the most disgusting of ideas that infect our community. On my Twitter, by the way, if you're not following me at Twitter at Black Outcast, you're failing. On my Twitter, I talked about the fact that, let me pull up the tweet for you, because I've been tweeting my tail off today. Y'all know me and Twitter, right? But I talked about the fact that this whole thing was just a bunch of doofus self-boosting, lack of data having, them niggas not me, sir, bootlicks. Who, by the way, are now getting to frame any and all future dealings with H.R. 40. Oh, most definitely. By the way, family, my brother Black Dollars, they got the Sheila Jackson Lee rally. Matter of fact, Black Dollars, get to typing, man. I'm going to make you a mod. You go ahead and type in links, whatever you need to get that jumping off. That's right. The 21st. There's the information right there. If you in the Houston area, family, and you not there getting in Sheila Jackson Lee's face, joining up with your ADOS brothers and sisters, something's wrong with you. Thank you, SM Bonner. I thought so too. A bunch of doofus selfers. My grandfather worked real hard and you know, he would be upset because, you know, if we were trying to give y'all reparations, because he wouldn't have worked. He didn't want reparations. He just wanted opportunities. As if every other ADOS person didn't want opportunities. Like, we just all sat around, right, after emancipation and said, woo, glad that slavery thing is over. I don't give a damn what opportunities they offer me. I'm good. They could not have picked, in my opinion, more disrespectful witnesses for this hearing. That is, Kizzy, I'm not making it up. Kizzy will tell you, must have saw the broadcast. That's exactly how he sounds. I'm serious. The brother needs to be checked for CTE. Because he sound, oh my God. And don't even get me started on Danny Glover. What the hell was he doing there? Somebody needs to check Danny Glover for like the early onset of dementia or Alzheimer's or something. No disrespect. But that dude was the hell out of it. They give him an opportunity to speak out of turn, by the way. And let me quote to you, right, what the congressperson said who allowed Danny Glover to speak out of turn. He said, I know he's speaking out of turn, but I really like his movies. I bullshit you not. I bullshit you not. Danny Glover looked like he was on the nod. Like he had just shot up a dose before he went in there to this meeting. He was talking like this, and his words were slurring, and when he got really passionate, he sounded kind of like this. I was like, what the hell? Family, he went on a rant about working for the San Francisco city government way back in like the 60s or some shit. Talking about San Francisco was a wonderful town. It was an amazing place, and we were doing, amazing things, and I knew people that had jobs and in the post office, and I'm like, what the hell? See, thank you, CRU. I've seen my brother CRU on that end, right? 3 C's to the wind, and talking more coherent than this fool. I thought they should have called in a first responder because I thought the motherfucker was going to pass out. Of course, family, as you well know, Ta-Nehisi Coates, the great reparations avenger, was not that guy. He was not that guy, family. Not that guy. So everybody, and I'm talking about, look, family, when you have a white woman there who is advocating for solid reparations for ADOS people, I'm talking about full-throated, no holds barred, balls to the wall, remediation, restoration, and repair of the American descendants of slavery, sitting in between like 4 coons, you know it's a shit show. Sorry, family, I'm going to curse today because y'all needed to hear it. Richard, I don't know enough about this Oberlin College thing that you're mentioning about, so I won't speak on it. But I will do this. If you stick around and participate in a few more broadcasts, I'll make it a point to research it so we can talk about it. Zulu, happy Juneteenth to you, brother. Harold, happy Juneteenth to you as well. The entire hearing was a setup. It was just simply to look, family, ultimately, I'm talking about when this all plays out, the history of this will be written as a means by which the Democrats attempted to provide cover for themselves. Right? They want us as ADOS folk to keep, to take our boot off the neck, right? They want us to take boot from neck. Happy Juneteenth, JM. Welcome to the broadcast. I mean, you had Coleman say, I don't want to check. You had Burgess say, I don't want to check. You had the fat black priest look like a fat ass Friar Tuck saying he didn't care about a check. You had Julianne Malveaux saying she don't want to check. So when Ta-Nehisi gets a chance to speak again, I'm thinking, well, oh shit, here we go. He was worse. He was like, I just want to say that I don't think it's appropriate for us to take the check off the table because some people actually deserve a check. I thought he was going to then get up out his chair and duck up under the table. I'm not bullshitting you. Ta-Nehisi was so scary when he said that shit. I bet he thought that he was on the balcony down there in Memphis when it was about to get shot like MLK or something. Family, I'm serious. This was political theater to its highest degree. Absolute theater. Quite. So they made sure after 3 hours of repetition, because the truth be told, family, the hearing was actually over, I would say about an hour, maybe an hour 15 in. After that, it just began to be repetitive. Like, that's when you had people actually getting up and walking the hell out. Like, I can't deal with any more of this coon shit. I'm good. Like, I watched the broadcast, and I'm sitting here like, you know how you had that one vein, you know what I'm saying, in your forehead that feel like it's about to just pop because your blood pressure up? But you know you got to do this thing? It's right, August. Ta-Nehisi looked like that the patty rollers was coming to get him. Oh, Lord, what is I gonna do if I say cut these niggas a check? These white folks gonna kill me. Family, it was sad. It was absolutely sad. Today, live and in living color, you got to watch the breakdown of the man formerly known as Ta-Nehisi Coates. Seriously. Thank you, by the way, CRU. I'll make sure to research that. Because Richard is my guest, and you know how I am with my guests. By the way, Miss Purple Lady, happy Juneteenth to you. Our Jizzle, happy Juneteenth to you. Right? Kizzy, tell him, Ta-Nehisi toward the end of it was just like, don't ask me nothing, y'all. I'm just going to sit over here in the cut. Y'all can pan the camera to everybody. I'm cool. Like, Ta-Nehisi did this. He tapped out. That's real talk. He was like, well, we want to make sure that we don't deny anybody the possibility of a check because some of them might deserve checks. Seriously, it was like they had a razor blade to the man's balls. I'd have much rather him just went on ahead and cooned out like everybody else. I'm just saying. I don't know who's going to be on future panels, right? Because truth be told, there should be no future panels. So, family, let me give you the process of what's supposed to happen next, okay? Now that they've had this hearing, H.R. 40 will go to the floor of the House. Now, this means that both Republicans and Democrats, which after this travesty of a meeting today, I really don't see much difference, to be honest, right? They will vote on it. Now, here's the thing. There is no guarantee whatsoever that H.R. 40 will leave the House, right? So if you're really concerned about where the bill is going to go, understand it's a good damn chance. I'm not necessarily saying you should root for that, but there's a damn good chance that this bill will not pass the House. Okay? Now, that does not mean they cannot reintroduce it at some future date, but it will have to go through the process of being reintroduced. You know, it may go through committee, get tabled, go through the committee, and then be released back out to the floor. Now, if the bill does pass the House, make it through the House, as we all know, Cory Booker, or I should say, sorry, Corny Booker, has co-sponsored an attendant bill in the Senate. So the bill will then go to the Senate. And the Senate could just say, oh yeah, we like what the House said, and just pass it. Or they can make changes to it, which at that point, then it needs to be, those issues need to be resolved. Right? So then when they finally have a bill that they both can agree on, the Senate will then pass it and it'll go to Donald Trump. If Donald Trump signs it, then H.R. 40 becomes a public law, at which point they will then institute the committee to do the study for the possibility of reparations. There's the timeline. That's the process. Understand, however, fam, that they played themselves today. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Sheila Jackson Lee et alia played themselves today. By doing this, they actually gave us the impetus we need. Sure enough, they can drag it on and on and on. And they're going to have to. Because you see, family, they just gave us one of the best weapons as ADOS proponents and advocates we could have ever asked for. They showed us nothing but disrespect for a weak-ass, milquetoast piece of legislation that would have essentially done nothing for us. If you think that I, as an ADOS advocate, am not going to be telling everybody how Congress disrespected us by not even treating this weak-ass bill serious, you think that the push that you're seeing now is something? Wait until we actually draft our own legislation that is meant to do something. And then we have not hundreds of ADOS people there at the Capitol, on Capitol Hill, but thousands of us and tens of thousands of us. And they will have to see us every day and hear us every day and smell us every day until this legislation gets done. Oh, they played themselves today. They played themselves today. So, my beloved, let not your heart be troubled by this sham, this facade. Black Dollars, where did you send that, brother? Was that via Cash App or Streamlabs? I didn't get the little pop-up, but I will thank you in advance for your tip. I really do appreciate it. Yes, Kizzy, I actually tweeted that letter from the Green Party. Kizzy's referring to a letter released by national members of the Green Party that demanded that the United States pay reparations. Now, I know what you're thinking. The Greens. What are they? Like maybe 3%, I think. Because I voted for the Greens. Thank you, Black Dollars. I appreciate you, bruh. I voted for the Greens in 2012. I knew after one term of Obama that I was good. That I was good. So in 2012, I voted for the Greens. Jill Stein and Amiri Baraka. At least that's who I think it. No, was it? It was Jill Stein and like this Latina chick or whatever. I forget her name. If I remember correctly, in 2012. So I voted Green in 2012, right? But the Greens have actually had a long-standing plank in their American Green Party platform for reparations for the American descendants of slavery. That's not actually anything new, Kizzy. That was part of the reason why I voted for them in 2012. Oh, boys are green. Oh, boy, am I lying? Reparations is a part of the American Green Party platform. Right? Yeah. CRU, I say that we should be talking to all these folk, nationalists, Greens, whoever. I will do that, bruh. But I'm going to also delete that comment because I don't want your number all over the place. You feel me? I got it. And I'm going to drop you a line. But I didn't want everybody and their mama to have that. But fam, don't be troubled. The Democrats don't know who the hell they playing with. This was actually what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for them to do exactly what it was that they did, believe it or not. Because now they have given us the ammunition we need to bust back. Joey T. Peace to my brother Joey T. The strategy master in the house. Happy Juneteenth to you. I want you to understand, family, that those of us who have been engaging in political education understood that at some point we were going to have to break with HR 40. If you remember, we initially were pushing for people to co-sponsor HR 40 because if they weren't even willing to co-sponsor such a weak-ass milquetoast bill such as HR 40, we knew they were basically enemies of our justice claim, right? So we got them to tell on themselves right off the bat. Get at me, Joey. But now that they had this sham, this shit show of a hearing around the singular most important topic that any ADOS person has to face here in the United States, and the patent disrespect, the lack of seriousness that they addressed, they basically told us that the Democrats don't mean no good for us. By the way, how is it the Democrats is in charge of the Judiciary Committee, but they let the Republicans just run roughshod? Matter of fact, how is it that Democrats are supposed to be in charge, but all of the questions was some old right-wing questions asking how not to do reparations, as opposed to asking the witnesses, how do they think it's possible to do reparations? How the hell did that happen? Right? You got the chairman who, I'm a proud co-sponsor of HR 40, asking questions designed to undermine the legislation that he's a proud co-sponsor of. Family, I'm not making it up. I have put the link. I put the link in the chat to the broadcast itself. And I will also put the link in the description field of this video. The damned chairman of the Judiciary Committee is asking questions that are incendiary and designed to undermine the very legislation that he claims to be a proud co-sponsor of. You feel me? I'm with you, sure enough. I still got my old ADOS mug. And I'm just sitting there sipping the tea, thinking these dumbass fools don't know what they just done. They don't know that they just played themselves. They don't know what ammunition they just gave to this transformational moment called ADOS. I know you are, Black Dollars. I know you are, Travis. And guess what? ADOS proponents that were kind of on the fence before today, you know, those of us who will watch a broadcast, but, you know, not necessarily engage in any real advocacy. After today, they fired up. I've seen people that I've never even seen before in this ADOS thing all over social media going ham. I'm talking about just regular old average, everyday black folk. Not even like people like myself who've been all ADOS all the time. I'm talking about just average garden variety black folk who are like, what the hell was this? Wait until we start getting boots on the ground. Wait until we have our ADOS conference in October. Wait until we start mobilizing. And wait until we draft our own legislation that they can't sabotage. And watch what happens. The Dems done sealed their fate for 2020. They don't have a hope in hell, not if ADOS has anything to say about it, of getting into the White House. So you can welcome Imperator Trump, first of his name, back for another term. I can guarantee you that. With their constant pushing for open borders. Family, I live here in Washington State. Yesterday, I took my son to a doctor's appointment. And I saw something I have never seen in my entire life. I saw a sign that said, if you are expressing these symptoms, please put on a mask, turn around, leave, and go home because of a measles outbreak. Measles! You know, that disease that we all thought that we had basically eradicated here in the United States. Well, she's back. Find out that we sitting here, everybody talking about, oh, y'all hate Latinos, y'all hate Latinos, y'all hate Latinos. No, we don't. Because guess who else is coming across the border down there in the southern edge? Nigerians and other Africans crossing the border in Mexico illegally. Family, today, the Democrats tried us. But there's an old saying I'd like to share with you before I open up the phone. If you mess with the angry black sheep, you get the horns. That's right. They tried us today. They tried us hard today with their do-for-selfer drivel, with trying to equate educational opportunities and not locking black people up as reparations. They tried us today. Everybody up there talking about economics, but nobody wants to talk about cutting the check. Oh, they tried us today. They tried us today. But they don't know what they done. I'm with Black Dollars. If after having watched this shit show, this travesty of a hearing, if you are not galvanized to fight on behalf of your ancestors and your brothers and sisters who share your lineage and your heritage for this justice claim, you're dead from the neck up. And more importantly, at this point, you're dead to us. Because that Coleman character, I hope that he's comfortable over there, you know, in his little philosophy school with them white folks. No hate towards white folks, by the way. This is not a hate movement. I don't have no hatred towards white Americans. They citizens just like I am. But I hope he's comfortable over there with them because he's done. He's done. Family, when you got Don Lemon talking about reparations and making sense. This Coon Man character, he ain't got an iceberg's chance of hell of lasting any time in our community. He's canceled. This Burgess character, he really need to seek some help. I'm serious. I think the CTE done messed with his head. He done took one too many helmet shots. There's only so much I can stand to hearing somebody say reparations as reparations. He can't even pronounce it. He need help. That was one of the most important things, family, that I wanted to mention today that I noticed about the hearing. The actual sponsor of the bill, Sheila Jackson Lee, is of immigrant descent. This Coleman character I hear is Puerto Rican, right? You had all of these people sitting on the judiciary who were white folks. Let me ask you a question. Let's say that Germany held a hearing to discuss paying reparations to the Jews and their descendants who survived the Shoah, the Holocaust, okay? And of the people on that committee to decide the fate of the Jewish justice claim, you had no Jews and 4 Nazis. Right? What is it that you think the odds are that justice for your people is going to be on the menu? You see, family, Sheila Jackson Lee ain't independent. Right? She's not independent. Her bread is buttered by the DNC. Just like all the rest of them. Don't worry, they'll get their hands on the Justice Democrats soon enough too as well. You know what I'm saying? Ilhan Omar, you know, AOC and all the rest of them, they'll fall in line. I promise you. The Democrats love nothing more than to let their little young ones run roughshod. But when it comes time to actually get stuff done, they'll sheepdog them. Don't be surprised. Justice Democrats, my ass. The Democrats are allergic to justice. America, at this point, is allergic to justice. But you know what? ADOS is coming. Y'all better take some Benadryl. Yeah, Richard, Congolese, look. Right now, there's an outbreak of Ebola going on over there in the Congo. But you got Congolese people sneaking across the Mexican border along with migrants from Central America. How long will it be, family, before we have an outbreak of some shit that penicillin can't cure? That kills you in 24 hours. And we supposed to just be all right with that. If the Democrats tell you, you know, we should just be cool with that. We should offer them asylum. No real data. No real advocacy. Just a bunch of bootlicks waiting on their butter biscuits to be served because you know there was a luncheon. And you know what Professor Black Truth says about those luncheons. You know there was a luncheon, especially for that fat ass priest. That son of a bitch probably ate everybody's luncheon. No, I did not. Kizzy, Black Outcast is what I am on Twitter. Here, let me put my handle here. Yeah. So, family, let's talk about it. It's your turn. So y'all can go on and enjoy your Juneteenth. Let's talk about it. 425-296-1980. Go ahead and call in. Speak what's on your mind. Get it off your chest so we can get that fire back in the belly. Because we got work to do. Oh, they tried us today, family. They tried us. I'm sitting there half laughing and half wanting to slap the TV. Montreal Player said, if you distribute a large lump sum to individuals with low financial literacy, are you worried that that wealth would end up flowing into existing predatory institutions? Great question. Why don't you call me and let's talk about it? Numbers there on the screen, 425-296-1980. This is the part where I'm not addressing nothing in the chat. You want to speak to me? You talk out in the open. Ask great. It's a great question. There we go. Let me turn this down a little bit. Caller from 708. It's your man Mark Black. Happy Juneteenth to you. What's your name? Where you from? And what's on your mind?
Oh, happy Juneteenth to you, man.
Oh, it's my man CRU.
Oh yeah, you know, and I'm coherent.
I hear you, bruh. I'm glad to hear it.
Better than Danny Glover, man.
Bruh.
Like
Danny Glover was on some old like this here, like I kept expecting the camera to pan down to his suit jacket and see a needle hanging out of his arm. I'm not bullshitting. I thought he was on the nod, bruh. I done seen too many junkies. Danny Glover looked like he was gone off of that fentanyl or something.
Yeah, I didn't even get to watch it. Like, I see parts of it here and there, but I was listening to it the whole time.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. Jason Black, again, shout out to Jason Black. Like I said, I know the brother will never shout me out on his shit because, you know, he is the new black media. But shout out to Jason Black, man, because what he did today was God's work. Playing it live.
And he had more people on than what was 20, on.
He had like 20
on ABC.
Yeah, ABC. So I first started watching it via ABC's YouTube channel. Then I went to the Washington Post. Jason Black had like 2,800 people watching live. ABC had like 113. I was like, oh, that's what I'm talking about. He showed enough did.
Sitting at home from work watching it on TV.
Man, it was
all us on YouTube and Facebook and stuff. You know what I mean?
Dude, it was, you know what? It was exactly what we expected it was going to be. A whole bunch of nothing.
But like they said, our people gonna be galvanized because, like you said, they overplayed their hand.
They definitely overplayed their hand. Look, one thing I can say about ADOS folk, to our credit, is that we don't tolerate disrespect very well. Right? You can throw low-key shade at us, and if you a muckety-muck or somebody important, we'll slough it off. Or if we think you might do something nice for us later, we'll let it slide. But naked, bald disrespect, we don't truck with. And what happened today was nothing if not disrespectful. Like, it was clearly from the get-go set up to do nothing but denigrate our justice claim and to make us look like we're fucking psychopaths for even demanding it. That's real talk.
They proved themselves wrong. Then.
By the way, shout out to all the ADOS folk in D.C. who was in there in the hall representing. Didn't you hear them? Didn't you hear your brothers and sisters, family? Look, they were respectful. But they disrupted a little bit. The chairman had to say, see, show you how disrespectful they are. They can't talk to us like regular Americans. They can't tap the gavel and say, order, please, order, please. No, they got to say, chill. Like we don't speak proper English or some shit.
All they were going to say was homie next.
You know what I mean? I kept expecting them to break out with the Patron and start passing around shots.
Right.
This shit was just patently disrespectful.
Whoever go outside, like Jesus Christ.
ADOS there in DC represented.
That did put some influence on it, though.
Now, see, here's the thing. That part, CRU, is up to us now. They've taught. Okay, so basically, what they did by overplaying their hand is they actually showed us the path to beat them. They showed us the path. How to get through what we need to get through. They showed us the way.
Yeah, because all they can do is bluff.
That's all they can do. That is all they can do.
And it's on us to believe them or not. And I don't believe nothing they say.
Facts. If they're not coming from the data, I don't want to hear shit they talking about anyway. When I saw Julianne Malveaux, who was supposed, thank you. Show Enough brought up a good point. CRU, I'm going to let you go, bruh. I appreciate, as always, your love and support, man. You know you're welcome to call in anytime, man. Happy Juneteenth to you.
For sure.
Show Enough, that what would Jesus do shit, I was done. Like, I'm serious. I was done. Like, where the hell are the preachers with balls? You know, the ones who said, look, I can answer that for you outside this arena, this forum, but what you ain't gonna do is bring religion into this. ADOS people are all different religious spectrums across the board. We talking about universal remediation, repair, and redress of grievances for ADOS folk, all of them. That would have been, look, that would have been me right off the top. It'd been like, what you ain't gonna do is start talking about Jesus and shit up in here. This, don't get this collar twisted. I will take this collar off and whoop your ass up in here. No, I'm just kidding. But he would have got smoke. He would have got smoke. That what with Jesus shit. Man, get the hell out of here. And you know that fed right into that fat priest's wheelhouse. Because then he could talk about his favorite subject, the Lord Jesus. Oh boy, one of the members of the committee asked the preacher, what would Jesus do when it comes to reparations? I can't. Kizzy, he said he's not a manager, he's a salesman. Like this dude had to be the shady. Look, this was the epitome of Pastor Pork Chop. Reverend Do Wrong. The Holy Ghost is not with this man. It's some straight up BS. You know, I'm not with management. I'm a salesman. What? Please. Please. Family, if you want to know what advocacy looked like, I'm about to shout out somebody I haven't talked about in a minute. Shout out to Marianne Williamson. Marianne Williamson at the Poor People's Campaign. Look, I'm just going to keep it a buck. She showed her ass. And I loved it. They tried to drag Marianne Williamson all over the place. They tried to drag her all over the place. Are you going to talk about voter suppression? You going to talk about this, talk about that? She said, yeah, but we're going to talk about reparations too. I'm not kidding you. I have to admit, I kind of was a little lukewarm on Marianne Williamson. Because she be, you know, all high flung with the rhetoric sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But in that Poor People's Campaign meeting, she showed her natural white ass. Shout out to you, Marianne. She even threw shade at Joy Reid. I said, what? Oh my God. Right? Pastor Talbot, Bishop Swan. Look, I'm not even religious, but Bishop Swan, he did a prayer this morning that was so dope, even I had to say amen. And Bishop Swan is all ADS all day long. Like, unapologetic, going ham. He's like, don't let this man of the cloth thing fool you. I'm about justice for the least of these. You feel me? He don't just talk about faith. That brother, Bishop Swan, live it. Dr. Cosby don't just talk about faith. He live it. Marianne Williams, you know what? Marianne Williamson shocked me. Because I ain't gonna lie, I thought she was a Chihuahua. But it turns out she got a little bit of pit bull in her. Whoop, got a call coming in. Let's take this one. Caller from 301. Happy Juneteenth to you. It's your man, Mark Black. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's on your mind?
Happy Juneteenth, Mark Black. What's
That's my
going on,
man,
family? What's
Brother
going on?
Travis, aka Black Dollars in the house. Talk to the people, brother. What's on your mind?
Hey, man, I want to just say thank you, Mark, man, for all the hard work that you put in. I know, man, you be going tit for tat on YouTube all the time.
Yes, sir.
Man, we're trying to get this advocacy out of here for all of the ADOS. And all I want to say to the ADOS is everybody that you're trying to talk to in your family that don't want to listen to you, because I have it in my family as well. It's not just you guys. It's not just Mark. It's not just me. It's all of us. You know, we have family that's not supportive of the ADOS. But you know what? You have to continue on and focus on what you feel that's in your heart to do, because everybody's not ready for this racial awakening. And this racial awakening is ADOS, Mark Black. I'm telling you.
Most
man,
definitely.
We got it. We got the boots on the ground down here. I'm telling everybody from the ADOS, I'm not from Houston, because a lot of people have asked me, you know, who am I? Who are you? Who is this guy? I said, well, just go on to Black Dollars University, go check me out, you know, check out my content and let me know what you think. And a lot of people were telling me that I'm COINTELPRO, I'm a fraud, I'm this, I'm that. I've even had our own ADOS to criticize me and tell me I need to stop doing what I'm doing. But I asked them, I said, what are you doing for ADOS? And that's what everybody has to ask themselves. What are you doing to make ADOS better?
Yes,
and
sir.
what I'm doing the same thing Mark Black doing. I'm advocating. I'm telling people about ADOS. I started a political rally from nothing.
I know, bro.
And now
I'm so proud of you, man. Look, brother, if you don't hear it from nobody else, I am beyond proud of you, Travis. I watched you take this from an idea. Family, Black Dollars been rolling with me for a minute, right? And I'm going to tell you, I watched this brother Travis take this from an idea, from nothing, and turn it into reality off of sheer passion and based firmly in the data. This brother is hardcore in the paint all day, every day. B1 247 365. And Travis, shout out to you, man. I love the work that you're doing.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. I got discouraged for a little bit because, you know, when you have your own ADOS to tell you, you know, you need to stop doing this or you need to stop saying this. What is the ADOS 300 and all of this crap? You know, it discourages you. You have to sit back for a second and think about, you know, hey, am I really, you know, getting through to people? Do people really understand? But I want to tell you all, you don't have to prove yourself to anybody, because if you're ADOS, you know your ADOS, you know what the information is about, and just continue to stick to that. If your family doesn't want to go along with what you have to say, don't worry about it. Now, I will say this, because Mark, he brings it all the time. But I'm going to tell you this. That Mr. Candace, I call that boy Mr. Candace Owens. Because that boy right there, I don't know where he came from. I know he from Columbia University or something.
Yeah,
and his
he's
father
in one of those Ivy Leagues.
Yeah, Ivy League. Yeah, he from Ivy League, Mark. And he was getting on there saying, I don't think we need to get reparations and this and that. Well, where do you live, man? Where do you? I was asking myself, where do you come from?
Exactly.
Because
Who
you don't
you?
come from the background that I come from. Who the fuck are you? Excuse my language.
Nah, bro. Hey,
and
speak your speech.
Man, hey, Mark, man, I was at work, man. I'm doing work because I work for the state of Texas. You know what I'm saying? I work for the Bureau of Labor Statistics. You know,
brother,
I got
keep
2
talking.
degrees.
I'm right here. I'm actually doing barbecue for Juneteenth, and I got it in the oven. I just smoked a bunch of chicken on the grill.
Hey,
and
man,
I'm
send me a rib, man. Send me a rib.
No ribs here, bro. I ain't got no pork. I got chicken today, man. I didn't have a chance to grab no ribs, or I would freeze one up and shoot you a rib. Let me go run and grab. Keep talking, bro. I'm listening, but I'm gonna go in the kitchen and grab this food out the oven. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, I want to say this, ADOS. Thank you all for all of your support that you've been giving Black Dollars. I don't have a lot of subscribers. I'm not really worried about the subscribers, but I try to work hard every day. And everything that I do that y'all hear on my channel, I just want to tell y'all, it's not something that I just have planned already. It's something that comes to my mind every single day, just like freestyle. I think about all of these different topics or things that inspire me, all the five senses of the world, ADOS, and I just use that to push forward my advocacy, because I get my power from my ancestors. And when y'all hear me ranting about things sometimes on the roll calls, those are very important things that I be expressing to you all. But people will try to judge you based on how you look or how you talk or what you say. But I'm ADOS. My family was born in Louisiana. All my heritage came from Sierra Leone. That's where, when I trace my ancestry back, it goes all the way back to Sierra Leone.
Damn, that's what's up.
American. Yeah, and my family, and a lot of people don't know. People think that Creole comes from what they say, the Spanish and all of that in Louisiana. Hell no. Creole, if you look up Sierra Leonean people, you're going to find that Sierra Leonean people are Creole people.
I'm going to tell you, Black Dollars, Sierra Leone makes sense because the vast majority of slaves that were imported here to the United States came from the Senegambian region, right? We're talking Senegal, right? Benin, Sierra Leone, and so on and so forth. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And you guys, just hang in there. The Sheila Jackson Lee rally, I'm posting it live on Facebook, Instagram. I don't have 1,000+ followers like Mark, so I might not be able to do it on YouTube. But I've been asking everybody in ADOS to go to my channel, subscribe, so y'all can super
Please
chat,
do,
so
family.
we get Sheila Jackson Lee out there and ask your questions, and that way we can ask questions that you all have in the super chat, because ADOS is just not about. It's not just about what I'm talking about. It's about all of us. ADOS, when I speak for ADOS, it's for everybody. It's a team effort. Yep. It's not about me. When I shout out everybody, it's about y'all. Myself, I could care less. I'm not an activist. I'm ADOS. I'm a black gladiator of freedom. I'm fighting for freedom. I die for it because my kids, I see what my kids are going through and your kids are going through. We getting shot every day. All of this stuff is conjuring up the spirit to do something powerful. And I encourage every one of you to do something powerful for yourself, for your family. Protect yourself, protect your family, and ride for ADOS, because this is it. This is the last time. Y'all, we going to get a chance to do this.
That's
the
right.
Civil Rights Movement 2.0, and we got to bring the pain. Like Mark Black said, it's the carrot or the stick. Sometimes you can use the carrot, but at other times you got to use the stick. And I'm ready to use the stick.
Yes, sir.
Because I choose the stick because I refuse to sit back and watch Mark Black's kids get disrespected and stepped on by the police. You're not doing that in front of me. I'm not holding no phone. I'm not doing none of that. If you mess with I'm gonna die for Mark's kids. That's how serious it is with me.
That's how serious it's got to be for all of us, Travis. Look,
everybody gotta have that mindset.
I'm gonna tell you, there's so much work in just changing our mind state and how we operate and how we navigate this space as ADOS. Because remember, family, what ADOS has truly been about so far is just establishing our boundaries. You can't have healthy relationships with people when you lack boundaries. You see what I'm saying?
You can't.
So what we've been doing now is establishing our boundaries. But now that ADOS has started to establish our boundaries, right? Organized around our lineage and our heritage as a people, now it's time to start teaching not just each other, but America how to treat us. That's the next step, right? Once we start teaching America how to treat us, we're going to demand that our boundaries be honored, or there will be the stick when they cross those lines. Then you will see a sea change in how we're able to navigate this space known as the United States of America. Brother Travis, man, hey, I'm glad I was able to give you the shine. Trust me, you are welcome here. I want us to do a collabo at some point. So make sure
Me
you
too.
get
Me
at
too.
me.
You let me know when.
You got it, brother. And I support everything you're doing. Like I said, I watched you take this from a seed, from nothing, from just a thought, and bring it into reality, man. And you're gonna go far in this advocacy for our people, man, because you got what it takes. You got the passion, but more importantly, you got the data. And bruh, that's exactly what we need for our ADOS advocates in this transformational moment, bruh. So hats off to you. Thank you for just everything you do, man. Thank you for being you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Mark Black, and happy Juneteenth to everybody. I'm gonna get off this phone, but I just want to say the Sheila Jackson Lee rally Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The speaking for ADOS will start at 12 p.m. If you're on East Coast, it'll be 1 o'clock. And if you're on West Coast time, it'll probably be about 9:10, about 10 o'clock or so. So you guys make sure y'all tune in. We'll be live. I got it. Got all the information that you need posted on Facebook, Instagram, and Dinky99 on Instagram. Travis J411 at Twitter. I'm blocked right now because I said something to Talib Kweli.
Man, I told you to leave Talib alone, boy.
Yeah, he said something to me. He said something to me, so I had to respond back.
I hear you,
and
bro.
Also,
I hear you.
Snapchat, Straight Black 1946. If y'all need to get on there, and Facebook, you'll find me. You can't miss me. You go on ADOS, the Facebook page for ADOS, you'll find me. And the ADOS social is going to be at 2 p.m. where we're going to continue to build that energy up afterwards and support our Black businesses from a real ADOS people at Houston. This is It's Soul Food Restaurant. They already got the presidential stuff laid out for them. And that's where Sheila Jackson Lee goes to eat. So I hope her ass there so I can knock her damn plate off her goddamn plate.
I hear you, bruh. I look forward to seeing the whole event.
Man.
I look forward to seeing
y'all, man.
Love you too, bruh.
ADOS, one.
Woo! Brother Black Dollars in the house. Travis, make sure you put links to all your social media there in the chat so that people that are asking for you can start following your work. Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, Yvette told us that our job as advocates is to make more advocates. If we're not getting you, pushing you to start advocating in this space for your tribe, for your people, then we're failing at what we're doing. Shout out to Haven Bullets. Welcome to the broadcast. Happy Juneteenth to you. Montreal, thank you, by the way. Let me go ahead and shout out Montreal for the love. I appreciate the tip. And the line's open, Montreal, if you want to give us a call. Richard, if you interested in asking some questions and maybe getting some information and having a bit of discussion, 425-296-1980, right? Family, this is our time, right? Like Brother Travis said, this is our one shot. 2053 approaches. We don't have much time left. Now, sure, this is not a sprint. So husband your energies, husband your resources, right? Hug your peoples, keep them close. But we need to be out here with that fire in our belly, willing to advocate with whomever, whenever, and however. What is it that I tell you, family? We have no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, no permanent alliances, just permanent interests. That is it, and that is all. It is about one thing and one thing only: paying the debt, cutting the check. Someone asked, by the way, that's okay. Haven Bullets is welcome. As long as he's not disrespectful, Haven Bullets can dissent, make statements, comments. Anyone is welcome here, right? We here at Black Outcast Media take on all comers, and we address all things. So Haven Bullets can have at it, right? I got plenty enough mods that if Haven oversteps his bounds or whatever, he'll find himself elsewhere. But yeah, Haven is welcome. So Thomas, did Dr. Darity just release that on Twitter? Because if so, I'm going to check that out when the broadcast is done. By the way, last call here for Montreal. I know you wanted to call in. The line is open. And Richard, again, if I don't get a chance to talk with you today, please make sure you come back, right? I don't get very many guests. And so I want to make sure that you feel welcome. Haven is welcome. Again, everybody who's respectful and willing to have a dialogue and a discussion is welcome. Monty's in the house. Hey, sis, peace to you. Happy Juneteenth. Yeah, sure enough. You know what? As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to make that a shirt. Family, if I make a shirt that says no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, no permanent alliances, just permanent interests, would you be willing to pick one up and support the channel? Because if so, I'll design it and have it up available by Sucker Free Saturday. I'll have it like in a little check mark fashion, right? That'll have X's through friends, enemies, alliances, and a check mark on interests, right? And then I'll have a little caption that says, cut the check. I'll design that shirt here before your Sucker Free Saturday if you're interested. And family, I want to thank all of you who supported us today, right? Make sure, support your interests, right? Again, I don't want to be no beggar. I'm not sitting here trying to shame you or anything like that, but I do appreciate your support, your eyeballs, your financial support, and all of that. I try to make sure I bring a good quality broadcast. I just custom built a broadcast PC to be able to provide you with the best content, the best information. But that costs. If you feel like you can help me call it, please make sure you do that, right? Links are in the chat. There's also links in the description to merchandise that you can purchase that helps support my work, books that you can purchase. Each purchase of those books help to support my work, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I'm not worried about it, fam. Like I said, I'm here to have a discussion, right? My detractors, the people who dissent, help me to be a better advocate for you, right? So if they can bring the heat, let them bring it. But family, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Montreal, try getting at me on Saturday, right? Join us for Sucker Free Saturday this Saturday, 4:30 p.m. PDT as usual, right? We're going to talk about a whole range of topics. As a matter of fact, don't want to steal her thunder, but I'm going to be doing a broadcast with the Black Honey Badger this Friday where we're going to be discussing good women. And I can guarantee you, as the angry black sheep, I'm going to piss a whole lot of people off, but that's what black sheep do. I ain't here to get you to love me. I'm just here to get you to listen. Oh, here we go. Got a call coming in right here. By the way, before I take this call, shout out to you, Miss Purple Lady. I appreciate the love and thank you for that. Caller, it's your man, Mark Black. Happy Juneteenth. What's your name, where you calling from, and what's on your mind? Caller, can you hear me? Oh, okay. Well, hey, you know what? No worries.
Keep speaking the real Mark.
Thank you, Caleb. I definitely will, and I appreciate you breaking bread with us. But yeah, fam, we got work to do. They tried us today. We about to show them just exactly what they earned for their efforts. ADOS is about to do work. You know, of course, Yvette, when she returns from the Angela Project, tomorrow she's doing her broadcast. For those of you who are looking for her normal Wednesday broadcast today, she will not be broadcasting today. Remember, her, Antonio, and Dr. Darity are at the Angela Project, right? Of their annual Angela Project conference, an advocacy thing, and they're doing that. But she will be broadcasting tomorrow, and you know she's gonna bring the heat. You know she's gonna bring the fire after this travesty of a hearing, this shit show that we were forced to witness today. Oh, got a call coming in. Let's see who this is. Hey, it's your man Mark Black. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? And what's on your mind?
Montreal player again.
Montreal player. It's about time. Hey, what's good?
Yeah, good. Thanks for taking the call. So,
No problem. What's on your mind?
My earlier question was, as far as, because you cut the check, right? So as far as giving lump sum payment to individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, most individuals, I would say, have this low financial literacy, right? And are you worried that giving, that much capital to people would allow it to flow into our institutions that are already used to preying on people with low financial literacy?
That's a great damn question. A great damn question. So let's unpack that, right?
Sure.
Now, I'll give you a short answer and then a little bit of a longer answer, if you don't mind. If you got the time to ride.
Yeah, no, I'm here to listen.
Excellent. My short answer is no. Now, the longer answer is financial literacy, believe it or not, Montreal, is not something that technically holds ADOS people back. And I'll explain. First of all, a lot of Americans aren't aware that ADOS people, as an aggregate, actually save more than any other ethnic demo in the country. A lot of people don't know that, right? We're constantly trying to set aside resources, income, etc., for a rainy day. See, one of the things as ADOS, Montreal, that a lot of Americans don't understand is that due to the nature of the society in which we live, we don't tend to get very many second chances, right? Like if you're again, you'll find that there's no hatred towards any ethnic group here on my channel, right? I don't hate white folks or anything like that, right? So when I speak about white folks, it's only in a very general sense. Don't take it personal, right? But
don't worry, I won't.
But what you'll find is that, let's say your average white citizen has a bad run of financial bad luck, right? At the worst, they may declare bankruptcy. Now, depending on what debts they might owe, some of those are not dischargeable in bankruptcy, right? Such as student loans, child support, usually these government debts and so on and so forth. But barring that, they can essentially wipe the slate clean. And employment opportunities are always there for them, right? Unless the economy as a whole is taking a shit, right? Usually there's adequate employment opportunities for someone who might be struggling, who's one of my fellow white citizens, right? On top of that,
that depends what they're trained in, but okay, go on.
No, you're right. There's all sorts of variables, but we're talking in general, in the main, right? Because we have to speak about generalities in this. And that's one issue that I take umbrage with when I have this discussion with a lot of my fellow white citizens, is that they want to try to relate it to their own lives. When in point of fact, some of what I say about ADOS people does not relate to all ADOS people. We have socioeconomic strata just like every other ethnic demo does in this country, right? So in other words, we have our super rich ADOS folk or super wealthy. We have our dirt poor, hookworm having third world country living ADOS folk too, and everything in between. So we have to speak about generalities, which is why we discuss when we talk about the wealth gap. We talk about the mean wealth gap, right? Whites as an aggregate, the mean wealth gap between them and us is around $800,000. This means that on average, right, your average white citizen has intra vivo, right? This means while they're living, wealth transfers that are available to them, they have access to capital that has been passed down multi-generationally that they can access and tap into in case of emergencies, or they're trying to make investments and so on and so forth. Well, ADOS people, Montreal, have been denied that. And not only have we been denied that by your basic garden variety bigotry, right? Like, white folks not wanting to deal with us and stuff like that. It was actually enshrined systematically in the operating scheme of the government of the United States. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about, right? During the New Deal, right? When Roosevelt instituted the New Deal, right? And he talked about freedom from, right? Freedom from want, freedom from poverty and all that stuff, right? It was essentially to avoid in this country a possible communist revolution. right? Because the communists were making inroads. I mean, you can see that as early as like the teens, when you had Eugene Debs run for president and so on and so forth, right? So when he talked about all these things, he instituted what we've now come to call the New Deal. We're talking Social Security and works programs and expansion of government welfare for American citizens. But my people were denied that, not specifically enshrined in law. It wasn't saying that ADOS people couldn't participate. But what it would do is it would write the laws in a way that forbade our participation. Social Security, for example, when Social Security was first instituted under the New Deal, there were two groups of people that were excluded from Social Security. That was agricultural workers and domestics. Okay? Well, guess who were the primary agricultural workers and domestics in the 1930s in the United States of America? If you guess ADOS people, you would be absolutely right. So even though this now became available for Americans at large, whether you were of immigrant stock or if you had been here since the Mayflower, right? This was something that was by law, systematically, institutionally denied to us, right? So we already were behind the eight ball, but because when our ancestors were emancipated from slavery, we were basically freed with nothing, right? We were given nothing. It was like, oh, you're free. Good luck, niggers. And that was it. We tried capitalism through savings and the Freedmen's Bank, but the administrators of the Freedmen's Bank defrauded millions of my ancestors out of their hard-earned money to the tune of millions of dollars, what would be nearly $1 billion in worth today. That was our money, by the way. That wasn't money that was given to us by the government. That was nickels, dimes, quarters, pennies, and dollars that ADOS people saved up in the hope of bettering their condition. Right. Then on top of that,
so your argument.
Go ahead.
So your argument, basically, to my original question, is that given, I guess, the circumstances that ADOS people find themselves majoritarily right now, they've already, I guess, developed a culture of being careful with their money and not having, I guess, credit and generational wealth to rely on.
Absolutely.
And this would give them in aggregate, I guess, a better financial literacy than the average, citizen, and therefore they could be more trusted with, I guess, the lump sum of cash. Is that approximately?
Yeah, absolutely. As a
saying?
matter of fact, I'll even go you one better, Montreal, because I would argue that the average American citizen does not have that much financial literacy. Think about this, right?
That's what I was talking about. I wasn't, I guess, targeting directly American blacks or ADOS, but people in general, I find, don't have that kind of financial.
But I'm arguing that the people that have the money, that have the resources intergenerationally, do not have as much financial literacy as we would all like to think. Think about this, right? In America, you've had in the last 2 decades, right, since roughly the year 2000, the advent of a technology that is so disruptive that even the dominant majority, right, populace, is still struggling to wrap its head around it, right? And not to mention the fact that this technology, right, we're talking about the advent of the internet, right, and all of the technologies that have come along with the internet. Your average everyday American is still struggling to try to wrap their heads around just how disruptive a technology this is. And on top of that, what you're seeing now with the advent of the Internet of Things, with the development of networks that could communicate positions in 3D space time, right? You're seeing the advent and the growth of possible AI solutions to transportation, to law, right, to medicine, and so on and so forth, right? So these disruptive technologies, combined with the fact that even for the dominant ethnic groups and the dominant demos in America, wages have been stagnant since roughly around 1968. And you have a recipe for disaster. But here's something to note. ADOS people in this country have long played the role of the canary in the coal mine for America. In other words, as go us, ultimately so will go you, right? But because Americans have treated us traditionally as the outcast, right? The designated permanent underclass, right? The ones to eat the failure of America, they've refused to see us as the canaries that we actually are. We have had to, in order to survive the onslaught of Plessy v. Ferguson, aka Jim Crow, right? Sharecropping, debt peonage, convict leasing, the denial of opportunities via redlining and the New Deal, the denial of mass, disenfranchisement, the denial of our right to vote, mass incarceration, drug infiltration in our communities. We've had to develop ways and means of taking 15 cents and making it act like a dollar. So when ADOS folk lose their jobs, when they lose their opportunities that they have, we find a way, right? We have support structures that we've developed and so on and so forth. But how many times, Montreal, do we read in newspapers some guy lost his job and goes home and kills his wife and kids because he doesn't know how he's going to feed them? Right?
Yeah, that's what happens.
You feel me? So my point is that
I hold on. Let me try to. I'm
Go
just
ahead.
Try to reiterate and say it. So essentially, right, because of the lack of a safety net, I guess the habits developed by ADOS people would have caused them, if they had bad financial literacy, they would have blown up a lot sooner.
Oh, most definitely.
And kind of eliminated themselves from the game anyways, right? So I guess generationally, for surviving this long under those conditions, there's kind of a general culture of being, I guess, more robust to, I guess, a slimmer economic diet.
I could not have said it better. That was beautifully put. Yes, ADOS have been essentially on an economic starvation diet since emancipation. So we've had to learn how to make a meal for an entire family out of a bag of beans, a bag of rice, and some chicken seasoning, and things like that, right? Now, the greater populace at large will make fun of us, right? They will say things like, God, those people eat badly. But guess what? We still eat, right? We've had to find a way to navigate this space that has traditionally had nothing but antipathy to our interests. You see what I mean? So what I think would be a better question to ask, Montreal, is why isn't the idea of reparations for American descendants of slaves considered something similar to a stimulus package for America? Think about this, Montreal. We are Americans. I'm in many ways, I am actually more American than most of the white detractors who try to tell me they don't owe me anything. My ancestry, I can trace as far back as 1700 in America and 1500 in Ireland on the white side of my family, right? Because my family was an admixture of whites and blacks, as many slaves were, right? But yet I have to answer.
Right. Whereas the average white guy might only be here for 3 or 4 generations.
Well, I find it ironic that Bernie Sanders, who seems to be this big democratic socialist, progressive lefty god for Democrats, is only a second generation immigrant. And I, as a native black American, now have to kiss the ass of an immigrant to have my justice that is due my ancestry and me. The debt that has long been owed to my people, I have to advocate with somebody who ain't been here but a hot goddamn minute to have justice done. I find that extremely ironic. Ironic.
Anyways, I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure. Hey, I hope you join the Angry Black Sheep. You are always welcome to call in anytime you got a question or you want to have a discussion.
I already have. I've been following you on Twitter for a while, and I've just been asking about reparations. I guess I'm curious about the topic. I stream on another platform. I've streamed with I guess I've streamed with my black friends on the platform to talk about this topic, and I'm surprised to see that generally the topic is treated with some sort of ridicule. Like it's not like a serious idea, right? But I guess as I've investigated, I've discovered, I guess, hashtag ADOS, you, some other people, Talbot Swan, and it seems like the arguments, make a lot of sense. So I've started, I guess, to take this idea seriously, and that's it. I'm just investigating it. So thank you. I appreciate the stream.
My pleasure.
Yep. Okay. Have a good day.
You too, sir. Thank you. Montreal asked some great questions, family, and see, this is what advocacy looks like. Montreal is welcome here. This is a person that is curious about our justice claim, right? That has questions that we have answers for, that we, as your ADOS advocates, have the data to explain in a fashion that's not combative, that's not disrespectful, but is serious business, because this is serious business. Family, you don't have to be afraid to be an advocate for your people, because the data is on your side. It is never a problem for you to speak to people like Montreal and let them know that this isn't a personal issue. This isn't about hatred. This is about justice. This is about ensuring that once we put this reparation thing to bed, we can all move forward in this country and do the needful. I believe, DDD, that Montreal was a white guy, and I believe it doesn't matter. I'm open to talk to anybody, you feel me? Right? So I'm glad Montreal is sticking around. I'm glad Montreal became an angry black sheep. We definitely need more like him. People who actually have genuine curiosity, who actually want to understand this thing rather than ridicule it. You have ADOS people who ridicule it. Why? Because we sour grape. We don't like to be in no place of any type of optimism or hope. So we sour grape it, and then we be detractors of an idea we know makes sense. Right? But see, Montreal won't get that from people who are only looking to be aspirational, who are only looking to just, hey, let's just put the past behind us, and focus on the opportunities and so on and so forth. Montreal won't get the truth from them. He will only get the truth from people who understand this advocacy, who know how to maneuver this space, and who understand the data. Bernie Sanders is a damn second-generation immigrant, and we're now having to kiss his ass to demand justice for our people who have been native. It makes no sense, family. Life, it seems, is not without a sense of irony. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay. Because Bernie can get this smoke. Kamala can get this smoke. There ain't nobody who's sacrosanct. There are no sacred spaces for them. No sacred sheep that won't get slaughtered. And of course, I'm meaning that figuratively, family. Don't go out and do nothing stupid. You feel me? Right? But yeah, great call, Montreal, and glad to have you as a part of the Angry Black Sheep. Family, I was going to close it down, but there was another call that was coming in. Caller, if you want to call back, please, we can go ahead and do this thing, right? This is your Juneteenth. We celebrating, but we doing work at the same time, because you know why? ADOS was built for this. We can celebrate and advocate at the same time. We can provide information and inspiration at the same time. Miss Diddy is still at work. She has not come home as of yet. Otherwise, you'd be hearing her in the background. You know what, Black Dollars? It is it is beyond an honor for me to stand in for our esteemed sister Yvette tonight, to give the people some edification, some information, some inspiration, to help them celebrate their Juneteenth the way it's supposed to be celebrated, honoring our ancestors by continuing their efforts and continuing their work to press home this justice claim. Shout out to you, Black Wall Street. Happy Juneteenth to you, and welcome to the broadcast. Excuse me. By the way, shout out to Future 5001 too. Easy Acts, you know what? I'm going to tell you, it's easy. Fam, it's easy because, like I said, all the data is on our side. When we actually talk to people and we show them the history, we break it down for them and explain how we were systematically by this government. We're not going after white folks. I could care less about the average everyday garden variety white person, right? Just like they couldn't, I'm not saying I hate them. They're just neutral to me and I'm neutral to them, right? This ain't about them. This is about the government that empowered them to be in the position that they're in and forced me and my tribe to eat the failure. Shout out to my sister Kim. Happy Juneteenth to you, sister. Welcome to the broadcast. Deus Ex Macchiato said, I think it does a disservice for them to frame it just as reparations for slavery. But you know what, Deus? I'm going to tell you, that's a setup too, right? That's a setup too. See, they only wanted to make it about slavery because then they can talk about, well, nobody who's alive today is a slave. They think that that's a valid, comeback or clap back for us pressing home a justice claim about slavery. But when we start talking about how this country systematically re-enslaves us every generation with new iterations of the same old song and dance, it's amazing how quickly the dissent shuts up. It's amazing how quickly they stop talking, how they ain't got nothing else to say. When we start bringing up debt peonage, convict leasing, Jim Crow, mass disenfranchisement, right? Mass incarceration, the drug war, and all of this other stuff. When we start talking about the double unemployment rate for black people, this is the official unemployment rate, is regularly double for ADOS people than it is for everybody else in the society. When we start talking about the stuff that still continues today, that is the legacy of us being the American descendants of slavery, strangely enough, they all shut up. They all find a way to just skeetle on out of here. And I'm going to tell you something. To my diasporan brothers and sisters out there, please understand that the same energy that we're pushing for this justice claim here in America, if you play your cards right, could be brought to bear to help you with your justice claim against the UK, against France, against Germany, Belgium, right? Don't be so quick to throw us under the bus because you feel some kind of way because we're setting up some borders and boundaries. We don't let y'all run roughshod all over us. It's time for us to show you how we're supposed to be treated. That's all this is. And if you learn to respect our boundaries, you'll find that the love you always saw from us is still there. We just ain't taking no shit off you no more. That's all it is. Family, I got time for one more call. We about 54 after the hour. I want to wrap it up by 6. So 425-296-1980. Right? Here we go. Caller from 708. It's your man Mark Black. Happy Juneteenth. What's your name? Where you calling from? And what's on your mind?
Yes, I'm from Chicago. My name is Jay. And I want to say everything you're preaching is just a lot of new stuff I can add into my knowledge as an ADOS person. I mean, it was very enlightening. You broke that down like a pound, bro.
Hey, I appreciate that, bro. By the way, shout out to my brothers and sisters in the Chi. You know I love you. Shout out to them crazy people up in Schaumburg Park.
Yeah, but I just want to reiterate, man, it's funny they talk all this stuff about how, I was reading somebody's channel and they were saying, well, how come everybody is mad that Sheila Jackson? They don't get why we're not jumping on board. And, the funny thing is Martin Luther King back in the 1960s realized and talked about reparations to 11 months before he got killed. And he knew why we deserve it. You mean to tell me we are sitting here damn near 60 years later, 70 years later, and these people act like they don't get it?
You know what? They get it, man. Like I said, the Democrats, They think they playing with us, right? They think they know us. You know, there's an old saying, brother, familiarity breeds contempt, right? You know how when you know, as an ADOS person, somebody come at you sideways, right? And you reply to them, be like, wait a minute, you don't know me like that, right? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you understand instinctively that when people think they know you, they feel entitled to be able to come at you slick, right? To not show you your respect. You feel me? And we nip that in the bud. The thing is that it's time for us to turn to Sam, both wings, the Republicans and the Democrats, and let them know that the old status quo of how they used to operate with us ain't going no more, right? You know, the Democrats think they know us, so they just talk all crazy to us. I saw a tweet where the Democrats actually put out a tweet saying "bye, a boy, bye" with a picture of Donald Trump on it, and text, you know, 500 to get this limited edition wallpaper. So when they come to us and they discuss things of a political nature, it's never serious. They always come to us with memes and with jokes and with, you know, trying to use our vernacular, you know, our African American vernacular English, right? AAVE. You feel me? Trying to talk like we talk, you know, on some old we all the same or we all aligned type shit. So they feel hella familiar with us, like they know us. Well, ADOS is telling them, you don't know us like you think you know us. And if you keep playing games with us, we're going to punish you at the polls and we're going to punish you everywhere we see you, because we are on code. Our lineage first above everything else. Nobody has ever had to face that from us, brother. And this is why it's got everybody shook.
I just went through something like that. I had a good fast. Well, he ain't good because we don't have no friends. So he was a foreigner. He was my friend, who I thought was my friend. When this whole reparation stuff came out, it became a whole different ball game. And I saw just how much I held him together to let him know things about here in this country and certain stuff, and, you know, just things about the history and the background. And I found it strange that I asked for one thing from you as a friend if you were my friend. And you couldn't even give me that as my alleged friend, because you really wasn't my friend. You were there to steal my birthright.
Yep. Everybody that comes here, bruh, is mercenary. See, here's the thing, right? Us as ADOS, for all of my right wingers out there, right? I want you to understand something real quick. We're the most patriotic group of Americans you could ever have an interaction with. ADOS have fought in every war, whether we wanted to or not. We've backed America's play in every endeavor it's had, whether we wanted to or not. American descendants of slavery are the most patriotic. Now, there's some of us who say, hey, cut me the check and then I'm bouncing. And I can understand that sentiment. America's been painful to us. I don't blame somebody for not wanting to stay in an environment that has been toxic to our people for 400 years. But the vast majority of ADOS people, if they go ahead and put this reparations claim to bed, right? Go ahead and let's put paid to this debt, call it all good, will stay their asses right here. And our restoration, remediation, and repair becomes immediately the largest stimulus package that this country has seen since the New Deal. They want a green New Deal. They want Marshall plans. I want a black New Deal and a Marshall plan for ADOS people. Rebuild us and you rebuild America. How much more patriotic can you get than that? But yet they want us to support these fools coming from, let me not be disrespectful. They want us to support these people immigrating from other countries and stuff like that, who have already shown they have no loyalty except anything but their own financial benefit. Because if they had any type of loyalty, any type of patriotism, they would fight to better the conditions in their homeland rather than come here.
That's right. And that's, today was the strangest thing because, I come downtown for work and I had to catch the train and the bus. And as I listened to all the ADOS news from Yvette Cornell to your channel to Tom talks about the climate Anderson, and we have plenty of Hispanics out there, at least. Boy, were they mad with me today. Because I had it on blast.
I ain't mad at you.
I had on my ADOS Descended a Slave shirt, and one older lady was sitting in the front. And I guess she said he kind of bold.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something.
Man sitting right behind me.
Bro, as an ADOS advocate, every day I feel good about myself because we, by our very existence, got these people shook.
Well, they said it like I was Jesus walking out.
Straight like that. Like I'll be driving down the street. I have a broadcast, like say from I just shout out to my elder brother, my esteemed elder brother, and one of my greatest minds, BGS Itmore, and thank you for the love, brother. I watch his broadcast, or I'll watch Jason Black, and I'll have the radio cranked and the windows down, sitting there in the intersection next to these white folks, like, yeah, I'm getting some fat on my head. What, you got a problem?
That's right.
You feel me?
At that point, it could have been a mob. I would have bad for that moment because I feel like this is something worth dying for. So I'm tired of being to the point where I've listened to this stuff, and you get out here on the street and you have debate and people act like they don't understand. So I feel like this. Instead of me doing the talking, I got some people that's going to talk. Well, I ain't got to talk. Yeah. And then when I do the talk, I'm going to do the talking right behind me if you got something against what they saying.
That's what's up, bro.
I felt so good wearing that shirt today on June 19th. I'll be sure I wore that shirt. It was cold as ever out here. And that's the first time I made sure I didn't have on no hoodie just so they could see.
Bruh, I'm like one of a few black people that live in my complex. I got the grill going. It got the whole neighborhood smelling like barbecue, celebrating my ancestors today. You dig? I had the grill popping, okay? Because this is Juneteenth. This is my holiday. This is my day. And it's on a Wednesday. People are walking by like, you barbecuing on a Wednesday night? You goddamn right. Because this is the day where I honor my ancestors, where I celebrate their struggle and their freedom and our future liberation and our future freedom. You damn right I'm going to celebrate. And I'm going to represent.
And I'm going to say this for, and I'm going to leave it alone. And my great-grandmother, she had passed in 2012. And her brother was thrown in the river down the Mississippi.
Damn.
Back when he was coming up. So she would be one of the ones where if they had go through the count of people missing and lynched and hung and chopped up. So, and she never, I didn't find this out until about 2009. I've been knowing my great-grandma I didn't find that out until 2007. I'll take that back. And she informed me, about her brother. And I said, what brother that was? And she told me the whole story and she started breaking down crying. She never really got over it. And that's what people don't understand is that when we have to hear these stories, we bear the pain that our ancestors buried because it never ends.
I'm going to tell you, brother, it's in our bodies. It's in our bodies.
That is But I talk about, I think about how my grandmother told me he didn't come home. If you didn't come home at a certain time in the evening, back in those days, she said everybody knew just about what happened to you.
Yep.
You definitely didn't come home the next day. They most likely, she said, you were found in the ditch somewhere or in the river.
Yeah.
And she said it took them months, man, to find her brother's body at the bottom of the river down there. And she was talking about it for day in, day out. And just to see that the time she did have a smile on her face, sometimes I said that's the only thing she got to hold on to because of so much pain.
Yeah. Yeah, we celebrate, man, because Not because we necessarily have a whole lot to celebrate, but because sometimes, man, that's what keeps back the pain. You know what I'm saying? We as ADOS folk, we will celebrate when this debt is paid. It's as simple as that. That will be Jubilee, right? For those of you who are spiritual religious folk, that will be the day of Jubilee. That will be the day when we will throw our hands up, tears streaming down our face, knowing that our travails have finally borne fruit. You know what I mean? May your great grandmother's brother rest in power, and we will not forget him. We will not forget him. We honor him today. We honor all of our fallen today because there's so many. There's so many.
And it hurt so much, man. Even talking about it because I had to be the one to sit there and put my hands on my grandmother and tell her, Granny, it's gonna be okay. Not knowing I never knew her brother, but just to think of that time period and then where we at now, and it breaks you down even closer because you see a lot of things still in change, it's just in a different form. Like
That's
you
right.
said,
It's an
each cycle is
iteration.
another form.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I say thank you, man, and I enjoyed all your broadcasts, man, and everything. And you have a great evening.
I will, sir. And it's my honor to serve you. Thank you for sharing your story. We appreciate you. Family. And that right there is why we fight. If you didn't need to know another reason, that right there is why we fight. Because we will never forget. Just like the Jews can say that they will not forget the Holocaust, we've had a 400-year Holocaust here in this country, and we will never forget. We may ultimately find ourselves in a place of forgiveness. We ain't there yet. America has done nothing to warrant our forgiveness. But if we're able to put paid to this debt, to bring justice, finally give birth to justice here in the shores of the United States, that's the day of Jubilee, family. That's the day when you will see your brother Mark Black jump up, tears streaming down my face, reaching out for every black hand I can get my hands on and squeezing you like I'm fit to bust. That's the day we gotta continue to fight for. Because they're not gonna roll over and just give it to us. They made that clear. They tried us today. But they don't know. Like I said, you poke the angry black sheep, you get the horns. It's time to do work, family. I'm not going to take another call. That one right there is all we needed to hear, family. That was all we needed to hear right there. Stay strong, stay positive, stay fighting. This ain't even nowhere near done, family. We got them shook. We expected them to play it like this. They showed they natural Democratic and Republican asses. Well, we about to show them our ass to kiss. But we about to do it the way ADOS do it, with style, right? So, family, this Saturday, Sucker Free Saturday, for those of you who are interested, Miss Denny and I are doing a collaboration on Friday discussing good women, right? I'm warning you, if you easily offended, triggered, feel like you a special snowflake or that I'm talking about you, I probably am. So you probably should stay your ass away. But otherwise, come and enjoy the broadcast with us on Friday. Sucker Free Saturday as usual, 4:30 p.m. PDT, right? Be here or be square. Please make sure you check the links in the description field. There's resources there. There's reports there with the data that you need for advocacy, absolutely free. There's books that you can purchase. Those books help to support my work. There's merchandise there that you can represent with the Angry Black Sheep logo. Show your pride in being an angry black sheep, and it also helps to support my work. And family, I love you as always. Happy Juneteenth to all of you American descendants of slavery. And until Friday for some of you, but Saturday for the rest of you, as always, I want to wish you all love, peace, prosperity, and power. Real power to our people.